Coast love coming up here on Wake Up Call in just a moment. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to start off the broadcast with Jarrod West, Syracuse Orange wide receiver alum, who's going to be joining me from out in Arizona. And we'll have the opportunity to talk with him on his journey at Syracuse and beyond that, as well as his thoughts on the 2024-25 season, Fran Brown bowl season, and more, all coming up here picture-in-picture on Wake Up Call. And then at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, as we always do on Tuesdays, we bring you Bearcat Time, featuring the Binghamton University Bearcats in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, where Binghamton will be spotlighting the women's basketball program. Very excited to have Mary Grimes back on the broadcast. And for the first time ever, Bella Pucci, student-athlete for the Binghamton women's basketball team, will be joining me as well. And both of them coming on the show today ahead of their huge matchup this Wednesday, tomorrow, for those of you watching live, against Syracuse University at home in Binghamton, right down in the southern tier of upstate New York. So Felicia Leggett, Jack, and the Orange are traveling down to Binghamton University, and I will be there for that game. And very excited for the opportunity to speak with Bella and Mary about the season, as well as the upcoming matchup and more. And then the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, where we were last night with the girls' indoor track team for Liverpool. And today's topic is going to be Don't Be Afraid to Have a Voice. So stay tuned for that at the culmination of today's broadcast. So with that being said, it is my honor and my privilege to welcome this gentleman back to the show. It's been a minute. We obviously spoke when he was here at Syracuse, and now we are picture-in-picture and have the opportunity to speak again. Jarrod West, Syracuse Orange wide receiver alum, speaking on his journey and the 2024-25 season for Syracuse. Mr. West, how we doing?
Good, man. How you been?
I've been very well. And, you know, what's cool is, you know, with your last name being West and you being out West now, I mean, I like that. It's, you know, there's a lot of different things. You said you're in sales. There's a lot of different things we can do with that. West out West. West takes the West. There's a lot of good things we can use with that name.
Yeah, it's definitely been catchy for my whole life, so it's cool.
Yeah. So for you, I mean, you've had some time away from Syracuse. You've had some time to reflect. What can you say, looking back on your time in Orange and Blue, that kind of sticks out the most to you?
I mean, I still have a great group of guys that I play with and I stay in touch with on a daily basis. It's just cool just knowing different people from different states. And no matter where I visit or where I go, I just have people that I know that I play with, teammates. It's cool. I mean, it's an awesome experience. I mean, Syracuse is an awesome university, and I mean, I'm so happy that I got the chance to go there and play football, and just the experiences alone and the school. It's a great time.
You got to wear jerseys that I like. You got to wear those gray jerseys, and some of the fans, they're like, oh, they look too much like Georgetown. I'm not feeling it and whatnot. But I miss those jerseys, which were worn for a very short amount of time. I want to get your thoughts of all the jerseys you got to wear. You got to wear the ones that had like the 44 on it that look like the flags and whatnot. Bring me into the jerseys that you had. Which one was your favorite? And did you like the gray jerseys?
I mean, I had 140 yards against Notre Dame in them gray jerseys, so I love those jerseys. But no, the gray jerseys. I mean, I get it that Syracuse is such a traditional, legendary school. So a lot of the old school guys, they weren't cool about the gray. Like it didn't really reflect onto the Syracuse way. So I would say my favorite jersey though would probably be the blue pinstripe jerseys, just because we had the Express 44 like 3/4 sleeves.
Yeah.
That we can wear under it. Those are pretty cool. I really like those. But the gray ones are cool too. I mean, they're definitely different. And I think I had like an upper deck card of the gray jerseys too. So it's always cool to just see stuff like that. And we had the white ones. We didn't have the orange. I think they had the orange after I left, but it had pretty good. We had a couple different helmets. I think like 3 different helmets.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mention the Upper Deck card because I actually, in promotion of today's broadcast and you being on the show, I found the card and
Wow.
yeah, so I found there was a picture of it online and I was like, man, he's got the gray jersey in this one, and I do like I love the gray jersey, and I'm gonna say this to you because Darius Kelly, he owes me one and he knows he owes me one. Who's gonna get me a jersey first? Because you see a couple jerseys on my wall. There's jerseys that there's a wall of fame for Wake Up
Right.
Call with Dan Tortora. Who will get me a jersey first? Will it be you or will it be Darius Kelly?
Hmm. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I gotta see. I know I have a couple jerseys in my closet back in Pennsylvania, but out here I'm pretty limited. But we might be able to make it happen. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I see. I love the gray jersey. I mean, I absolutely love the gray jersey. I want to go back to that Notre Dame game for you. Like you said, 140 yards against Notre Dame. Syracuse is going to play Notre Dame this upcoming season for 2025-26. What can you say to playing that team with that history and that story? We know they get an unfair advantage in the polls. That's reality. Doesn't matter who they play. But what is it about Notre Dame and that game? Because you had such a terrific game against them, but there's whenever you play for Notre Dame, there's something, and when you play against Notre Dame and have a lot of success, there's something to it. What is that Notre Dame factor, if you can describe it from being on the field?
It's kind of like the Penn State factor. I mean, their fans are one to none. They travel so well. So like wherever they're at, they're gonna have as many fans as they can at those games, and they're passionate. I mean, the history runs deep. Like the bloodlines run deep at that university. So, I mean, me personally going into that game, I couldn't wait. I mean, playing in the Giant Stadium, playing against Notre Dame, nationally televised because Notre Dame's always on TV. They got the lifetime contract.
Yeah.
So it's just it's fun to grow up watching teams like that and then get an opportunity to play. And then I mean in the biggest moments like that, those are the ones I thrive and love to play in. I mean I never forget when we were warming up, going into the game, like we're about to start kickoff. George McDonald was my receivers coach at the time, and he came up to me and right before we were about to head out on the field, he was like, "Hey," he was like, "I don't want you to come out today. So just you're tired, push through it, do whatever you can." And I mean, I was just excited. I knew I didn't have to look in the sideline and worry about anything. I just could just play free and just try to show out. So it was definitely a great experience, but they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. Anytime you get to play against teams at that caliber, I mean, you never forget it, and it'll just be a good time.
Yeah, and you just mentioned George McDonald, and obviously he had some time at Syracuse and then moved on from there. What can you say to his leadership on the offensive side? I don't think we really got to know who he was as an offensive coordinator as much as I think we could have. So, what can you say about how he ran an offense and what his leadership was like being under it?
I think he's a real passionate guy, and obviously he's been around the game for a while, coaching NFL for a little bit, and definitely has the tools to put you in the right situation. But he'll tell you himself. He went to Illinois, and he was more of a track guy, fast receiver. But he's looking for that effort and those just keep trying as hard as you can, and everything to work out kind of guy. So I think one of the greatest things that having him as my coach was, I mean, he helped me tremendously in like the blocking aspect, all the little things of the game, the stuff that like the scouts and things are looking for. I think Rob Moore did a really good job of really fine tuning my tools as a receiver when he was my coach there. But moving on to McDonald, he really focused on the little things. He's a great film guy. I really enjoyed playing with him. I thought he was a great offensive mind too. I mean, it sometimes, even though things don't work out how you want them to go, like we didn't have the greatest season when he was coordinating. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I mean, you get some bad matchups. Some guys don't fill into the spots and the roles how you thought they would be. So I thought George was a great coach. I like playing with him, and I haven't talked to him in a little while, but I'm sure if I called him right now or tomorrow, he'll answer and have a good conversation.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you had George McDonald, you had Rob Moore before that, Syracuse alum, a guy that went to the NFL and had success in the NFL. What was life like with Rob?
I mean, Rob's a legend in Syracuse alone. I mean, he's top three all time receivers there. So I mean, being able to play for a guy who, I mean, he was up there and not old, but up there in age from out being outside of playing. But I mean, he would show us stuff on the field all the time, and like I truly believe when I was playing for him, he still had a quarter left in him for sure. You definitely put him out there for a quarter. But like, when you have a leader like that, and then we're surrounded by a ton of coaches like Doug Marrone, he obviously did his thing in the Buffalo, Jacksonville, and the NFL, and then we have like Tyrone Wheatley, and there's just a list of coaches that are just really good players that when they played, and also good coaches too, and still coaching well to this day. So
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you had Doug Marrone for a couple seasons, and then you had Scott Schaefer, the defensive coordinator, step in and become the head coach when Doug decided to leave and take most of his staff. How did you go through that transition? I mean, you're a kid, and you realize at that moment, at that time, how much of a business this truly is. What was the experience like? Did Doug sit down with you all? Did he shoot y'all a text message? I mean, to this day, there's still not clarity of did he address the team? Did he not address the team? Did he leave in the middle of the night? Did he have some type of get together? So, what happened and how did you navigate through that? Because it was right in the middle of your collegiate career. It was Doug for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden it's Scott Schaefer.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely a tougher transition. Anytime you lose great coaches or lose any coach, it's a tough transition. But he definitely sat us down and let us all know. I mean, he had to do what's best for himself and his family. I mean, he still had some unleft things that he wanted to handle in an NFL. I mean, one of his hardest decisions of his life when he was going through this process. It's kind of cool that I still remember. He was talking about leaving the Saints and going back to Syracuse. And one of the things that he said is he's like he was skeptic of leaving because he knew how good the team was that he was leaving at the Saints.
Yeah.
And I think he was assistant head coach there at the time. So when he left and came to Syracuse, they won the Super Bowl the next year. So it's like, man, like when something like that happens, although like he knew what he was getting into going to Syracuse. He had some stuff they had to change. The culture was heading in the right direction, but he did the right things to get rid of guys and to bring some talented kids in to help turn the program back around. So I think he really did a good job of just paving the way and just bringing in the right people to get that program pushing in the direction that it is now. And I mean, it just led to greater and greater things.
Who recruited you on his staff?
Oh my God, he was a special teams coach. I forgot. I'm slipping on his name. I was really late, so I was originally committed to Stanford, and then I had some stuff go down, and Harbaugh left and stuff. It was just a whole mess. But I ended up I ended up reaching out to. I had a bunch of offers. I think I had like 42, but they all were like already committed to other people. So the only places I could really go to was like Boston College and Penn State,
Yeah.
which I grew up the biggest Penn State fan, and then I met Joe Pa and stuff like that, and that kind of just really put a bad taste in my mouth, just like how that program was running towards the end of that career. And then, I mean, thankfully I didn't go there because of what happened. But then Boston College the same way, and then I ended up like stumbling upon Syracuse. I mean, really late, and just fell in love with it. I mean, especially because of, like Rob Moore and the coaching staff. Like I said, I really felt like they can develop me, and I could be a instant impact on the roster that they had at the time.
Here with Jarrod West, Syracuse Orange wide receiver alum, speaking on his journey this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You had the opportunity to go to Penn State, like you just said. You had over 40 offers, which is incredible, and congratulations to you for that. Nobody can ever take that away from you, that you had so many different places to go to have this dream continue of playing football. most of the time when I talk to somebody in recruiting, Penn State, Syracuse, they choose Penn State.
Right.
So if it's between the two, why you said it was toward the end of Joe Pa's career, there was a bad taste in your mouth. What turned you off about Penn State? What made you say no to Penn State when you grew up a fan?
So I mean, I was I mean, a kid from PA. So, I mean, it's probably their dream to go to Penn State. It's like one of the greatest universities in Pennsylvania. So I went and visited on my like unofficial visit with my quarterback, Anthony Gonzalez, who ended up going to Pitt.
Yeah.
But we went on our visit there, and I mean, I sat in the meeting rooms, and Jay Paterno was the quarterback receivers coach at the time, and I mean, I was sitting in the meeting rooms, and there was nothing going on. There was no teaching going on.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like the people that went there were just like good players, but I didn't see much development. And I think that transitioned into their record. And like when they got into big time games, Penn State in the last 20 years has lost in a lot of those games just because I think it was the coaching. But I do like Franklin now. I had my first offer was Maryland, and he was a coach at Maryland. So I do like Franklin and what he has going, and I'm excited to see them in this playoff, see how they do. But I just think when I was at Penn State, I had such high expectations, and like the facilities, everything was top tier. But then when it came to that coaching and who I was going to be with the majority of the time, I just felt like there's other schools that can develop me better than them at that time.
Well, and you mentioned something. I mean, in today's world, we have name, image, and likeness. We have the transfer portal. We have the continuation of coaches promising, extending, and leaving. We have schools that are leaving entire conferences. We have conferences that seemingly are dissolving and then they reappear like the Pac 12. If you were playing college football today, what would be your kind of take on all this? Would you be involved in NIL? Would you dance with the transfer portal? I mean, I think I don't want to load the question, so I'll say what I need to say after. But if you were in college football today with everything that exists that didn't exist when you were playing, how would you handle it?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I'm jealous, man. I mean, all the lookalike stuff and all the stuff that they get paid for now. I mean, when I think about all the interviews that I did when I played, and think about all the different opportunities I had, I feel like it's a great opportunity for the game. I also think it helps college football in a sense that it keeps kids in college. Like you're making a decent amount of money when you're playing in college. I mean, you don't have to rush and get to NFL. You can develop, or you can stay your course and like help a university. I mean, if you look at the all-time leading receivers at Syracuse, I mean, how many years did those guys play? They played a couple of years, and they took off. And nowadays, I mean, you might see some guys like the Travis Hunter just won the Heisman. He played a couple of years in college. I know, like guys like that in the past, like if they didn't have NIL and stuff like that, I'm sure, man, after a couple of years, he might even got that opportunity to go to a Colorado and play both ways and do something that's incredible. So I just think it just opens the door to opportunities where people are like on a scale where people are just looking at them like, hey, like he can really help us out. I mean, it gives you that opportunity. Like you said earlier, how was it the transition with the coaching? I mean, maybe I could have left, like I could have, not saying that I wanted to, but maybe it would have been a better opportunity for me, or maybe it would have been a better opportunity for someone else to go to Syracuse, so.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, and you can move so freely now to do that. But you mentioned something that stuck with me. You said it came down to coaching. That you Penn State's facilities were top notch. You're a Pennsylvania kid. Your dream growing up, go to Penn State, play at Penn State. So you have this dream, you have this thought. You go on campus, you love the facilities, you know the history, but you go into the meeting room and there's no teaching going on, and you don't feel like the development's there, and you put it on the coaching and you look at their record at the end of the year and say, look, if they're not winning these big games, you care about coaching. You cared about coaching when you were a student athlete. Travis Hunter, who you mentioned, who just won a Heisman, he believed in Deion Sanders at Jackson State. He believed to go there, to go to an HBCU, to go to an FCS school, not an FBS school. And then when Deion went to Colorado, he followed him to Colorado. He believed in the coaching. His embrace with Deion Sanders the day that he won the Heisman was a very long hug with conversation going on and tears. Coaching matters. What can you say to that effect? Because in today's NIL and transfer portal, it feels like I got to get mine. It doesn't sound like I want to play for this coach. I want to be here with this coach. I want to be taught by him. I want him to help me become a better man. We saw that with the Heisman Trophy winner. So we know that it exists, and it exists at the highest level. But what can you say to that effect, and maybe a cautionary tale to student athletes now about how important it is to not just go somewhere that throws money at you and looks really flashy, but to actually think about the coaching?
I think one of the things I would say is there's thousands of great universities out there, and I mean you have to find the one that fits you the best. I mean when I walk into each of these schools that I visited, and I mean we got in our cars and we drove from Pennsylvania to down to Tennessee, Tennessee and Vanderbilt, just to hit every school that had offers to. And the two things that I mainly looked for was who am I going to be around the whole time? So the guys that I'm going to be playing with, do I see myself being good friends with them? Do I see myself having a good time with them? And then the coaches, how are the coaches? Like, do I feel like they're experienced enough, and do they fit what I need? Like some players come in and they're ready to play, but like when you're young, you have to learn about the recovery. You have to learn about your weaknesses. Like you always want to focus on your weaknesses, your body type. Like you're still growing into like a young man. So like your body type is gonna have a big effect. So like the strength trainers, your position coach, your head coach, like how is he? What kind of is he a defensive head coach? Is he an offensive head coach? Is he a player's coach? Is he a numbers guy? I mean, there's so much that goes into it that when you're out seeking your university, make sure it checks your boxes that you're looking for. And I mean, like I said, I visited a lot of great universities, and like some of them just didn't check all the boxes. Like I visited Northwestern 3 times, and man, I mean, I love Fitzpatrick. He's a good coach, stuff like that. And I was close. It was hard, but it came down to the guys that I was around. I felt like I needed a more diverse group. And when I got to Syracuse, I felt like that diverse group. I mean, we had guys from Florida, we had guys from Alabama, from the West Coast. I had people from everywhere that I saw. Like it kind of reminded me a little bit of my high school. I graduated at Liberty High School with 1,000 kids in my class, and very diverse school. So I was looking for something that like kind of made me feel like I can get along with those people. So that's why I ultimately chose Syracuse. And then when you throw in legends like Rob Moore, is he still at Tennessee now, receivers coach? Or
Rob has been so. I'm actually gonna double check right now while we're talking, because Rob he's had a journey. He's definitely had a
yeah,
journey, but because I know he went to the NFL after that. But let me take a look
yeah.
right now.
When I played for Tennessee, we played
He's with the
Oakland.
Panthers now.
I was just saying, okay.
Yeah,
So
Panthers.
yeah, I mean he'll stay around forever. He's one of the legendary coaches, and he really can develop guys. I mean, just look at some of the guys that he's coached, and like look where they're at now in the NFL and just playing well. But yeah, when I played for Tennessee, we played Oakland in the preseason at Oakland's old stadium on the baseball field, and he was coaching those guys up there. So I got to see him when I was out there. I talked to him a bunch of times, called him after that. But yeah, I actually talked to him I think last year when he was or 2 years ago when he was at Tennessee. So it's cool to see guys like that, and yeah.
Yeah, and I just got I'm getting messages coming through here. People that are like, felt you should have left Syracuse, wanted to see more. Not that you did anything wrong, but thought that a different offense and whatnot, and so thought that there could have been more for you there. Your father, Warren West, joined here and said, "Hey Dan, where is he here?" So He said, "Hey Dan, this is Jarrod's dad. Thanks for having him on." So it's my pleasure, sir. Very much
Yeah,
appreciate you
appreciate that.
watching.
Thanks for popping in, Dad.
So, there's a lot of different places I want to go to, but one of the things I want to ask you, and I'm not asking you this to for any controversy of it all. I just want to know, knowing the difference, knowing the change, knowing the fact that Nate Hackett went with Doug Marrone, your offensive coordinator, and that, obviously things switched to George McDonald, knowing the position coach switches, the head coach switches, the coordinating switches, the changes to the offense, and all those different things that happen. Hindsight 2020, if you could jump in a time machine and go back right now, would you have transferred? If you could transfer like it is today. So if we were living in a world where you can transfer freely, there's no sit out, the coach Shafe can't come up to you and give you a list of teams and say you can't go to any of these places. If you go to the ACC, you got to sit out 2 years instead of one. If none of that existed, if you could travel freely, play immediately, go wherever you wanted, knowing everything you know now, would you have transferred?
That's a tough question. I would say maybe. Um, I think one of the things that if I can go back and do it again would just be to just speak up a little bit. I mean, if you look back at that team, one of the one of our struggles was the red zone, and I mean, if you look at earlier on in my career with Syracuse, I was one of our top red zone target guys. Like they would throw me fades and stuff in the end zone all the time. That was my game. It's probably one of the best parts of my game. I
Yeah.
don't think I even got one fade my senior year in the red zone. So I mean, it sucked. I mean, I think I won. I think I won 8 weeks in a row offensive player of the week, and I had no touchdowns in those 8 weeks. So it's like I feel like I got us down there. I mean, why not give me another chance? I think they were just trying to do a lot at that time. Like they were just trying to figure out if they go like jumbo package when they get down the red zone, or like they had some utility guys, or like put some big like 6'8" guys out there. I think they were just doing too much. I think it could if you just kept it simple and just did what we did to get down there,
Yeah.
it would have been a lot better. But with the way the NIL and stuff is now, I mean, hey, if I got an opportunity to go play with the best quarterback in the country, I mean, who would turn that down? Like I think my senior year, I thought about maybe going over to Penn State still, and they were interested, but I mean they had a pretty decent quarterback over there my senior year when stuff was starting to clear up. But that's a tough question. I mean, things could have went different. Definitely, if I would have transferred out that last year. I mean, I think I could have been a very good asset to many colleges at that time just because of what I brought to the table. I mean, everybody needs a man beater, and that's probably my best quality of receiver, and that's probably why I stayed around the game for so long, because good blocker and good X split receiver that can beat man. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I always wonder, but I mean, hopefully my kids will get to experience it, not me.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, you stuck around the game for a while, had time in the NFL. You talked about Tennessee. Bring us into your journey in the NFL. For those who don't know, just what that experience was like and what it gave to you.
So I got to meet a lot of great people. Got to play with a lot of legends. Got to see a lot of cool things. I think going into that draft that year, I had spoken to every team, and from my combine or my pro day performance, people were talking about drafting me like third round and later. So I kind of was thinking I was going to get drafted. So not getting drafted after the draft, I actually got a call from the Vikings, which I kicked myself in the leg, but I wasn't really prepared for that post talk if I wasn't drafted conversation. But I mean, the Vikings offered me some money to go play for them, and I wish I would have went that route because I ended up asking them to contact my agent. And once you do that, they just move on, just go to another guy and offer them the same offer. So I ended up getting invited to the Jets rookie mini camp and the Tennessee rookie mini camp, where I did well at both. Ended up signing with the Jets, and then later on signing with the Steelers, and then probably stayed the longest with the Steelers. And that probably was the a very very cool experience just playing for like Mike Tomlin, who's the players coach, and then our best receiver was Antonio Brown, and who probably was the best receiver that year. So just to watch him every day in practice, I mean, it kind of showed me what it takes to be at the top when you get to see guys that are at the top. Because I got to see other guys like Brandon Marshall, Decker, Andre Johnson, like guys like that.
Yeah.
But man, just AB he was one of the best receivers I've ever seen. I've never seen a guy in practice that really can just dominate on that level. And I mean, playing with Big Ben, and then another cool experience is Mike Vick actually was our quarterback the first 2 weeks. So I got to catch balls from a guy I grew up playing Madden with, and was a monument to the game. That was cool playing with Mike Vick. That was probably one of my coolest things I got to do in the NFL, was just have a relationship with Mike Vick. I mean, I got to see the last years of Andre Johnson. My locker was next to Heath before he retired. Pouncey, those guys used to be around all the guys who probably going to be future Hall of Famers. That's cool.
Yeah. And for a kid that grew up in Pennsylvania and then get to be in Pittsburgh around all those names that you just named, I got to imagine how surreal that was for you, and how much of an answered prayer from God that must have felt like for you.
Yeah, I mean, I there's countless times that I just worked and worked and worked, and to get to where you need to get to, I mean, you got to be over and beyond. I mean, there's guys that I played with that if they would work out more than me, I would be upset with myself. And it was cool because, like, when we played in Syracuse, when we play on those Friday nights or Saturday, after the game, my family would come up and we would all go out and like have a good time, celebrate wins or losses, or just family, or just coming together. But I mean, the next day, 5 a.m, I was up back in the facility in the weight room. Like, I was working out, just polishing my game, watching film in the trainer's room, taking care of my body. And then I'll get home around like 9, 10 o'clock, and my cousins would be rolling out of bed, haven't eaten yet, a little hungover from the night before. But so it was cool. It was just it's good. Like, I always work hard, and I try to work hard in everything I do, because people notice that, and it definitely will pay off in the end.
Yeah. No, definitely. Hard work has no substitute. Here with Jarrod West, Syracuse Orange wide receiver alum, speaking on his journey, and we're going to get into his thoughts on this season in a second. Pops said when Marrone and his staff left, the new staff didn't use him right. Speaking of you, as Jarrod said, he would get down into scoring position. They never used him like Marrone did. So, definitely echoing your sentiments there. Looking at this season, looking at 2024-25, you said you almost went to Stanford. Syracuse lost to Stanford this year. And so when Stanford came to town, it was the first time that they had ever played each other. This season, as you look at it, the Orange are 9-3. They have the opportunity to go 10-3 for the second time since 2018. What's your take on Fran Brown and the team this season, a team that finished in the top 5 of 17 ACC schools and finished the season ranked?
Hey, I'll give all credit to the man. He brought the right people in. He got the right guys surrounding him. The players believe in him. Seems like a really good guy. I can't wait to meet him. I'll probably definitely catch a game next year. Definitely in my schedule to make some time to get out there. But I think he's doing the right things. I mean, when you're just hearing little things like bringing Will Hicks back into the weight room. I mean, he was one of the guys. You need those guys that's been around when it was in the trenches and when the team was really thriving. So just the things he has going on. Like, the kids love him. Seems like he has a great family. He's a great recruit, and I think he did a great job of really putting Syracuse back on the map, in the sense of we're always so close, but I mean, it just takes a couple guys here and there and then with the NIL and stuff like that, to bring guys over just to get you over that hump, I think it's great. I mean, the team this year was a tale of like you said, the Stanford game was tough. I mean, I feel like Fran definitely learned from that game a little bit. I mean, that quarterback ran all over us. He was tough too. I mean, you probably never heard of the kid until that game. So there's guys like that everywhere. Like if you could find those guys and you can put them in the right position to do well for themselves, I think you could have a successful season. Which I feel like Chris Brown is doing a really good job with that too. So I'm looking up and up with Syracuse now. I feel like the Pitt game was a tough game. I mean, I wasn't crazy about the game plan going into it, starting out like five wide, and seemed like there's a lot that could have went against you, especially in Pitt. Pitt, I played there a couple times in the pros and in college, but that's a very hard place to play. I mean, that's a hostile environment, and you get those fans on the side of the team. It's tough to climb back into those games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that rivalry with Pitt that lives on in the Northeast. You're from Bethlehem, PA. Dad went to Wilkes University. So, I mean, when you look back on growing up in Pennsylvania, you're a Northeast kid. You're not coming from a huge city and whatnot. What can you say to Northeast football? I mean, Fran Brown, he's from Camden, New Jersey. He's taken a bunch of kids from New Jersey, from that area, from the state of New Jersey. He's taking kids from Syracuse now, which I've been banging the drum about, the state of New York and upstate New York and central New York. Being a Northeast guy and them people looking down to Florida, looking to Oklahoma, looking to Texas, looking to California, looking to Kansas, Georgia, and the Northeast not always getting a lot of respect. What do you want to say about Northeast football coming from the Northeast and amounting almost 2,000 yards receiving in your collegiate career?
I would say there's some grit in the northeast area. I mean, when the teams that are playing later in the season in the playoffs and stuff like that, I mean, there's snow, it's cold. I mean, you're practicing on Thanksgiving. You're like in your districts and stuff like that. I mean, the playoff system is amazing. It's probably one of the best playoff systems that I've ever seen. The East West, like the eastern side of the PA. PA is a huge state, playing the western side of PA, and there's just a lot of great football in those areas. Like you got like Paramus, New Jersey, stuff like that. All those high knot teams in that area that that play through those cold weather and stuff like that. I feel like you got some good hard nosed guys that come out of there, and I think it definitely shows. And we don't get the same leisure that like Florida gets, where they can play year round and stuff like that. So like when kids are in their sports, they're all in. I mean, like you got a lot of dual sport athletes out there, because I mean, you just can't play football year round. You got to move to basketball or something like that. And I think when I was around playing in high school, you had guys like Terrell Pryor, who's a big basketball football guy. You had different type of guys in that era who just play all the sports and just try to be the best they can at those, but it all translates in just being an athlete and just being a competitor.
Yeah. And we did have a question coming in. I do want to get to rapid fire with you and put each other on the hot seat here for a second. But thoughts on the season? You and I talked about Notre Dame next season for Syracuse, but we know that the Orange schedule for 2025-26 is definitely going to have some different teams coming on here. Syracuse is going to start the season in the Aflac kickoff game, which is led by Peach Bowl Inc., which also has the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl down in Atlanta. That game is going to start the season off against Tennessee on Saturday, August 30th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, which is where the college football season is going to end this season, with the national championship being there. So Syracuse has Tennessee down in Georgia. They have home games against UConn, Colgate, as well as Boston College, Duke, North Carolina, which means Bill Belichick's coming to the Dome, Pitt's coming to the Dome, and then Syracuse will travel on the road in a very difficult schedule. They'll be at Notre Dame, at Clemson, at Georgia Tech, at Miami, at SMU. What are your thoughts about Syracuse's season next season?
Hey man, there's goods and bads about having a tough schedule like that. If you get the ball rolling, I mean, and get used to playing these tough competitions week in and week out, I mean, sky's the limit. Like people, they look at a schedule too and they're like, wow, look at all the teams we played. Hey, it's 1 week at a time. I mean, you prepare for your week and you see what you got going into it. You study, you see what their weaknesses is, you see what your weaknesses are, you work, you have a good game plan going in, and you just take it one game at a time. You learn from your mistakes, you learn from your wins, you learn from your losses. So yeah, it's a long season.
Yeah.
But to get through each game, you just gotta take it step at a time. Just grind it out. I mean, it takes a group effort. Like I said, I think Coach Brown is going to do a great job with the kids. I mean, getting them prepared. It seems like he has a good eye for the players and just getting them prepared. They always seem pretty prepared. A couple games here and there, but I'm sure there's some learning curves that he also, as a head coach, needed to go through. So I'm excited, man. I think sky's the limit for next year for the team. I mean, they got all the opportunities in the world to just continue to put us on the map.
Yeah, and the 2025 season, Syracuse will face Clemson, SMU, Notre Dame. In the 2026 season, Syracuse will face Clemson, SMU, and Notre Dame. So for the next couple of years, they will have those teams on the schedule. Let's jump into rapid fire here with Jarrod West, Syracuse wide receiver, alum here inside of the 2024-25 season, speaking on his journey. Jarrod, you get to ask the first question. What do you got?
For you or for the
me.
fans?
For me. You can ask me whatever you want.
All right. Let's see. Tell us a little bit about why you love doing this and what keeps you going.
I just celebrated 21 years in broadcasting in November. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And my company just turned 12 years old in July. So what do I love about it? I love this. I love bringing people together. I love spreading the word about God. I love making people laugh. I love seeing people have fun. I love telling stories, helping people to be seen and heard and appreciated. And I love building friendships and building bridges. I mean, I'm a little kid at heart, and I wake up every morning and love the opportunity to go and do. I mean, when I shoot you a message and say, Jarrod, would you like to be on the show? And you're like, I'd love to. Like, I live for that stuff. I lived for it to, getting those opportunities to build those relationships and build those connections. And years later, for somebody to go, I remember you, I appreciate the way you treated me. You were always straight with me. You were fair. You were honest. And so to me, it's not about the story. It's about the person. And I think the media has it in reverse. So I'm an outcast of the media, but I'm also a friend of coaches and players. And at the end of my life, if I have you guys as friends and people that respect me and the media hates me, I know that I've done my job the right way.
Cool. That's awesome. I mean, it's cool that you put the players first, put the people first. It's a cool concept to look at it. And like you said, there's so many great stories out there, and so many people are unheard. So it's cool that you can put people on a platform and give them that opportunity to just tell their story and just have people just remember the days that we've worked hard for. I mean, and you deserve it. Credit to your company and your career.
Well, thank you, man. I mean, to me, just because you finished playing football doesn't mean that the love goes away. And so to have you on the show and to have your brothers on the show, to me, it's to continue that love, to put you right back on the field for as long as I can.
Awesome, man.
So my question back to you is, you had about 782 quarterbacks when you were at Syracuse. so my question to you, I mean, you had Terrell Hunt, you had A.J. Long, Austin Wilson, Mitch Kimball, so on and so forth. What can you say about being a receiver that's got a million different quarterbacks thrown his way?
Hey, I would say I'm a quarterback's best friend. Like, I feel like I try to do my best to make it pretty easy for the quarterbacks, and as long as you get it in my area, try to make the play the best I can. But it is hard too. It's funny. My senior year, with all the injuries that was going on, I was actually our third string quarterback. I played quarterback in high school, and I was actually I would take reps. I actually warmed up against Duke. I was about to go in. Thank God AJ got his stuff together because I don't know how a collegiate quarterback would have been from playing receiver for 4 years, but I mean it's tough. I mean you're always eyes are all on you. I mean you
Yeah.
saw it with McCord this year. I mean he had his ups and downs, but I mean look where he's at now. He got a chance to be 10-3 like you said, and going into a good bowl game, ranked 21st in the country. I mean it could all pan out. You just got to put the work in and just have faith, like you said, in God and have faith in yourself and your teammates, and just hope that everyone's doing the right things to thrive. But I mean, it is tough. It is tough to play with a lot of different quarterbacks, but I mean, it's just quarterback at the end of the day. It's just receiver. We're just out there playing football, a game you love. So you can only try your best, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. Good answer. I like that. What's your last question for me?
Let's see. What was your favorite moment this year of the 2024 football Syracuse team?
Man, there's a few. I would say, I mean, Fran and I have some similarities, and we definitely both have a faith in God, and we built a strong bond early. And I
Do
mean,
you not shower after losses too?
I do shower after losses, so I do take showers after losses, and sometimes I take two a day. So, but I would say that I mean, for me, when I told him I was celebrating 21 years in broadcasting, because we talk off the air and we keep in touch, and so when I told him that, I could tell like he appreciated it, and then I was like, we're putting videos together, we're putting some stuff up, like if you wanted to connect with it in any way. And he gave me a thumbs up, and then I was like, all right, he's preparing for a game, whatever. And then I went to the press conference a few days later, and in front of all the media, live on the feed to the world, I mean, on Cuse.com, YouTube, going out everywhere, he halted the press conference to congratulate me publicly.
Wow,
And
that's awesome.
that showed me the type of man that he is, and it showed me his word, and it showed me that he's willing to talk about what he values, and the way that he did it. Like, him and I are kids, and so when we talk off the air, there's a lot of kid to it. We're very real with each other. He talks more openly, and I appreciate and I respect that bond, and I value that. So I would say, really, I mean, my moments with him mean a lot to me. And then the moment on the field, because he did something that in the moment I probably would have done similar, where he looked at the camera and he said, "Shout out to Dabo Sweeney, baby, I got you in." And he's like, "We're getting washed." So like I probably would have done that, something like that. I love that he was a kid in that moment. And so I think that's probably, besides his faith, which is number one, the thing that I love about Coach Brown the most is that he enjoys life like a kid. And I don't think you see coaches have fun as much as you should. And I think he has fun. And I like that. So I'm gonna say that, probably that.
Yeah, it's definitely important because us as players, we feel it, man. We definitely do. I mean, I think that was one of the things that Doug Marone lacked. He was a great coach. Don't get me wrong, but his player, he wasn't really the biggest players coach.
Yeah.
So I mean, we feel it. I mean, it's a lot different when you walk past the coach who's a players coach in the locker room, than you walk past the coach that isn't. I mean, it's like, and like you said, I mean, and somebody who can be themselves, have fun, and say, hey, like at the end of the day, it's just football. Like we're just playing football. Like we get the opportunity to go out here and play football on a Saturday when other guys are and doing their 9 to 5 or doing whatever. You get a chance to play football, so it's cool for sure. It's great. I love to see Coach Brown and the success that he's bringing to the program, and I'm excited to keep tuning in for more.
Absolutely. I love it. Final question, mine for you. You mentioned your faith. We talked about it a little bit. What is so important to you about your relationship with God?
I would say you always have to stay positive, and there's always a plan. So the way I look at it as just take care of and control what you can control, and everything else take care of itself. That's kind of how I carry myself every day. I mean, I look at things, and sometimes our minds try to take you in the one direction, but is it really something that you can control? And I think if you just stay faithful in yourself, stay faithful in whatever you believe, and just stay true to who you want to be and where you're going, I think there's a path for everybody. So that's what I would say.
Stay true to you. That coming from Jarrod West, Syracuse Orange wide receiver alum, this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And Dad says he loves you. And of course, Ship, your cousin, was on here as well. So much appreciation to you, Jarrod. Thank you for your time. You will be back on here if you'd like to come back. And it's been way too long. So I'm happy we finally got to do it. I hope we get to do it again soon.
For sure, Dan. It was a pleasure, man. Congratulations again on your journey, and just keep pushing to keep getting more people on here. Never know. I mean, I would see if Justin Pugh maybe can get out here. I'll give you a shout out there. I know he's doing the podcast and stuff too. So we'll see what can happen. You never know. I mean, you can bring more guys on here, could take off to directions where the right audience can see it, and you never know who you're touching. So appreciate what you're doing, and just keep bringing more guys in here to get the good word out.
Absolutely, man. Always. So thank you. God bless to you and your family. Merry Christmas. And I'll talk to you soon.
Happy holidays.
Thanks, buddy. See you.
Have a good one.
That coming from Jarrod West one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We're now going to jump right into our Bearcat Breakroom conversation that we have here with the Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball team, that featuring head coach Mary Grimes, as well as Bella Pucci, student athlete of this team, here inside of the 2024-25 season on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. So as we await bringing them on to the broadcast here, we thank you for being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And of course, in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, we bring you the Bearcat Breakroom every single opportunity that we get throughout the week, Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, bringing you student athletes, coaches, and administration. And we now have the opportunity to do exactly that. We have Mary Grimes here on the broadcast with us, and we'll have Bella Pucci as well. So I'm going to check in here. Mary, how are you?
I'm doing well, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing very well and very excited for what's coming up here this week. Bella, I want to make sure we have you on the line. Bella, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. So, Coach, I'm going to start with you here inside of the 2024-25 season, your first season out there at Binghamton with the Bearcats. Just what you've seen from not only Bella, but all of your student athletes in experiencing what it's like to be at Binghamton University and lead this program.
Oh man, well, thanks for having us on. From the team aspect, I really feel like they're just being sponges and embracing everything that I've been teaching them, and that's fun to coach. Everything I throw at them, they take it, they retain it, and if they got to make changes, they make changes. So that's the beauty of this group, and happy to be coaching them. Now, Bella, she makes me laugh. She makes me laugh. She does so many good things out on the court, whether it's, making threes, playing good defense, and sometimes when Bella makes mistakes, she covers them up because she's so fast. She is so fast, and I learned that this summer. We were running the mile, and she had herself a little Sha'Carri Richardson moment where she's in the lead, and she's checking behind her to see who's behind her. So, I mean, I just try to take what, each player can bring to the table and make them have success on the court with that. And, so when I think of her, I think of Lightning McQueen, just speed, and she brings it every day.
Well, I love that answer. Bella, you hear that from your head coach. What's your reaction to those words?
I always take it because, in the mile, I run a lot, so it wasn't really that big of a deal for me because I run when I'm home. My mom runs marathons, so running is in my family. But yeah, I appreciated Coach calling me Lightning McQueen. She always calls me it in practice, which is pretty funny. And my teammates start calling me it too. But yeah.
Bella, what's it like to have the leadership of Mary Grimes, her coming in here and this being a new chapter for Binghamton University women's basketball? What is her leadership and this staff? What have they done for you to bring out the best in you?
Yeah, Coach Grimes, she is one of the best coaches that I've ever played for. She has the mindset that she always wants to win. And a huge thing for me is like positivity. Um, just feel like she always is giving positivity to us as like players, and that brings a lot of confidence out of us players too. I feel like some of the players may struggle with confidence, but coach is always trying to be positive. Every single one of the coaching staff does that too, and I really appreciate it because then it makes us play better and like lets us play to our ability and show what we're really good at. So I appreciate coach and all the other coaches being so positive and always encouraging us, and yeah.
Mary, you look to that positivity. Where does that come from? I know that you're fiery. I've been around you for a while, obviously, all the time that you were the head coach at Lemoyne as well. So I know the passion that you have for this sport and the passion that you have for your student athletes. Where does all of that energy come from, and how do you do something that a lot of people struggle to do, which is turn adversity or negative energy into positive energy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes from my dad. We grew up and he always just told me you got to have a plan A, plan B. So with that mindset, it's hard to be negative because, if something fails, you're going to have a backup plan. And so, I think I really get it from my dad, but just me as a person, I don't like to be yelled at, personally. So I try not to yell at anyone else. And my daughter Mia, she's the same way. She doesn't want to be yelled at. And I think it's important to coach and critique, but not criticize. So finding that fine line where I can, bring the best out of them, but also coach and critique, but not criticize.
And there's an art to that. You said coach and critique, but not criticize. How did you, I know you said from your dad you learned a lot of things, but the balance of the ability to constructively help somebody move forward and get the best out of them without being that negative voice in their head. How do you do that dance so well?
Yeah, it's about building relationships, like we spend about 2 hours, 2.5 hours on the court. So, how can I get to know them in other ways and things like that. So, if I know if they're struggling off the court with class and everything like that, I'm not going to ride them hard in practice. Or if they're, having family issues, there's a reason behind everything. Coaches say, you got to separate what you're doing off the court and don't bring it to the court. But it's just human nature. So, I can take everything with a grain of salt. And everything's not going to be perfect. And I probably learned that best from both of my kids with them being type 1 diabetics. Like we could do everything right. We could do everything right and their blood sugar just goes wonky, So if I can't do perfect with my kids, I can't expect perfect with my team. And so, that's always in the back of my mind that at the end of the day, they're trying their best and they don't, intentionally make mistakes, but learn from those mistakes when they do happen and just grow from them. And this group's been really awesome. A lot of things we talk about within our team, it doesn't have to do with scoring. It's just about building that culture of trusting each other, trusting each team, having positive energy, like when somebody comes out the game, like picking them up or high-fiving. So, just having those things, I think will lead them a long ways in life. Us moms don't have a lot of choices sometimes, your kid's crying at 2 a.m. You got to go change that diaper. How can I help them in this moment when they're college students to fight that adversity when you're tired to get up and change that diaper? So hopefully a lot of the life lessons we're learning on the court will carry throughout their lives.
And Bella, do you feel it? Do you feel that the way that coach coaches about life and not simply scoring and different things about just purely basketball, but about the bigger picture, is that helping you to face that adversity? Is that helping you individually and as a team to grow, in your opinion?
Yeah, I agree with Coach says. I think that that's like a huge thing for us. We all have our strengths. So having Coach And like at the end of the day, we are human and we are all people, and like having coach care about us as not just basketball players, not just caring about what we're doing on the court, but also caring about what we are doing off the court and just making sure that we are okay. I really like appreciate coach caring about us as like people and making sure that we are okay. And it helps me grow as a player and grow as a person that's going to help me in the future. And I think that a lot of my teammates will agree with that too.
And Bella, you said, I think you said before that you've obviously being called Lightning McQueen by coach, but you go home and you run with mom. Is that what you said?
Yeah, my mom runs marathons, but my dad also played soccer in college, so I got the speed from both of them, mix of both of them.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
not.
my parents push me to my limits, and I'm always working out when I go home, but I guess I got the speed from them.
They say you have to crawl before you walk and walk before you run, but having a mom who runs and a dad who played soccer, does your family ever slow down or no?
No, no. If you've ever met my family, we never slow down. Usually all of us play sports. My brother plays soccer, my sister plays basketball, my little sister plays tennis. We're always playing sports. My cousins played football at UAlbany. My uncle was a football player, so it really runs in the family. They're always pushing me to my limits, and even when I don't want them to be hard on me, they're always being hard on me, and it helps me grow as a player too.
So you like the tough love.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Well, before we get into what's coming up here this week, a huge game and a huge opportunity and a return home to Binghamton, the team, Bella, is 4-1 in the last 5 games. Bring me into what's been going on here. You started off the season with 2 wins, then had a streak of 3 losses. Since then, have gone 4-1. What is it about the squad that's coming together, that's working culture-wise, and just the connective tissue of this team to be 4-1 right now in the last 5?
Yeah, I love this team. You know, we come into practice every day and we give it everything that we have. We're always being positive with each other, always bringing each other up. Like if I miss a layup, here's Jaden who's coming to me right away saying, "Bella, you got the next one." So that like we all do that to each other, and I think that that has helped us in the last few games to like just keep that positivity, the confidence. And then also the coaches, like they are being positive and they are being hard on us too, but we'll take it because it's going to make us better in the end. We have worked on a lot in practice in the last few days, and I feel like it really showed in the last game versus Siena, which I was really proud of our team. We really came together as a team in that game. But yeah, we just have been working hard in practice. The coaches have been helping us a ton, and I feel like we've gotten a lot better, but we got to keep it going.
Absolutely, I agree. And you'll have the opportunity to do that this Wednesday at home against Syracuse University at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Mary, I'm going to go to you for this one. You haven't been home since November 30th, so happy that you're coming home, but just what it means to play Syracuse at home in Binghamton and your relationship with Felicia Leggett, Jack.
Yeah, I think the players have a certain comfort playing in the event center, which is pretty cool. I've been on the opposite side where I've had to be the opposing coach coming into the event center and the band and everybody like that. It's an environment as an opposing coach that you're just like, you have to prepare for. So I think it's pretty cool. Our marketing and our sports information put on a good show for the fans in the area, and the players like it. We practice there pretty much all the time, so it's home for them. And I'm thankful for Felicia. It's not many teams in the ACC or SEC that want to come to a quote unquote mid major, but we're right down the street, and they needed an away game, so we kind of lucked out in that respect. But huge ton of respect for Felicia and what she's doing at her alma mater. It's going to be a tall task, but like I tell the team, every game pretty much. But this is the biggest game of our season. And if we always approach it that way, that this is the biggest game, when it comes to that championship and it's the biggest game, we've always treated it that way. So, that's our mindset going in. And there's some things we got to do to accomplish to, get the win. But I think this team's prepared for that, and excited to see Bella do her thing tomorrow against the Cuse.
Yeah, and you having this opportunity, we know what it's like to, when the picture taking comes on, when the cameras are out and you're holding up the jersey and you become the head coach at Binghamton. But now that you've had time with this program, time with these girls, time with leading, what you want women's basketball to look like for the Bearcats. How would you describe this environment for you in Binghamton and what the experience has been like specifically to lead this program?
I think it's like every player's dream and coach's dream because the community is so like they're so tuned in and what's going on. I can't go to Target or Wegmans without somebody knowing who I am, you know. So that's pretty cool, you know. I feel like that's something that only happens like Don Staley or, Gino, but the community is very tuned in on what's going on in Binghamton basketball and Binghamton athletics. So that's been, a little bit different. And the support we get from the administration has just been incredible. So I can't thank Gene Marshall enough for the opportunity, but also the support that he continued to give me, not only as a young coach, but also, as a person.
Well, we do rapid fire on the show, but I'm going to do it differently now. I'm going to let y'all ask each other a question. Mary, you get to put Bella on the hot seat.
Oh, God.
What do you want to ask Bella?
Last time this happened, it was not good, but I'll let the fans hear what the rapid fire question is. Bella, what's your favorite food?
Oh my gosh. Oh my God, this is a funny story because we're literally in the locker room before Buffalo and coach is like telling like a story and she's like she goes to me, she's like, all right, what's your favorite food? And here I am, I said, salad. Now people may hate on me, but I do love a good, chicken salad, but I do like other foods like pizza, pasta, but I don't know, I was on the spot, so I was just like, all right, salad. That was the first thing that came to my mind. My teammates always make so much fun of me because I'm such like a salad girl, but I think Jaden would agree with me. Jaden likes salad too.
Oh my God. All right. Beach or what do you call it? Like a snowy cabin. Beach or snowy cabin?
Ooh. Sorry. I'd have to go probably beach.
Nice.
Definitely beach, like the sun, the UV rays.
Yeah.
Gotta get those UV rays in.
Okay.
East Coast, West Coast, Bella.
Yeah.
East or West Coast?
Oh.
Which one you prefer? Been out to Cali?
Probably not. I'd probably stay around here. I like this area in New York. I'm a New York girl, so I'll probably stay here for the rest of my life, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe go to Boston. I like Boston. But yeah, stay on this side of the country.
Bella, you get to turn it on Coach now. Ask Coach a few. What do you got for Coach?
Okay. Coach, what is your favorite food?
Oh, pizza. 100% pizza. Yeah. Cheese, just like Macaulay Culkin. Plain cheese pizza. Just
Okay, I got a good one. If you didn't play basketball in college, what other sport would you played?
softball. Softball. I was pretty good at softball in high school, and my softball coach wanted me to play, and I just didn't want to be outside in the rain.
Awesome. Last, Bella, you got one more for Coach. What do you got?
One more.
Yep.
Um, hmm. I'll do the same. Would you rather be like in the snow or would you like sun, snow, like what?
Oh, 1,000% sun.
Yeah.
Sun. I don't even wear sunglasses. I enjoy the sun so much. Bring me all the UV.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we have a game this Wednesday, December 18th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We will see you down in Vestal. I will be there with this team. I'll be there for the doubleheader. So, Bella, thank you for your time. Coach Grimes, thank you as well. And, Coach, I'm going to give you the last word. Why should people come out and support this team this whole season, including tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think it's just a very hardworking group. I tell them all the time that that's the best compliment a coach can receive is when you go out into the community and everything like that, they respond and say, geez, your team just plays so hard. And so you'll see that night in, night out, in the event center or on ESPN Plus where we are. But, that's why they should come out. These women are working hard day in and day out, and it's a good show that we put on.
Thank you, Mary, as always, for your time. And Bella, thank you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Go Bearcats.
Thank you. Go Bearcats. Woo!
Take care. We'll see you tomorrow night. That coming from Bella Pucci as well as Mary Grimes here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life, you know that every Tuesday we have Bearcat Time, which happens Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, featuring your Binghamton University Bearcat student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year. We have Moments with Marshall as well, which features Gene Marshall, the athletics director of Binghamton University. We look forward to doing that very soon, by the grace of God. And we'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call. Plenty of great stuff with wonderful people this morning, having some fun, and good to see rapid fire when other people take the reins there and I get to watch it, because normally I'm asking the questions. So that was fun. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Jerry said, go Bearcats. Fun stuff. Stay here with us. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees. And as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience, it's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allow customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machines, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machines. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I could tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be at the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. Avicolli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicolli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicolli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you hanging out with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So a lot of great stuff here on the broadcast this morning, featuring three wonderful guests that we've had here on the show, that being Jarrod West, Syracuse Orange wide receiver, alum, and of course, and that him being out on the West Coast, so shout out to the West Coast and to Arizona, where he was coming onto the show from today. And a big time thanks to the East Coast and to spending some Bearcat time in the Bearcat Breakroom with head coach of the Binghamton University Bearcats women's basketball program, Mary Grimes, and of course, student athlete Bella Pucci, a.k.a. Lightning McQueen. So hope you're having a wonderful morning this morning. We're going to get into the ingredients to success in just a little bit, but I did want to let you know that in celebrating 21 years in broadcasting, we had some people that couldn't make it, right? Scheduling, it's in the middle of college football season and college basketball and all these different things going on. So this week, we are going to be airing some special messages that I received from people around the country in celebration of 21 years in broadcasting. So to everybody that came out to my party at the Wildcat Sports Pub on 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, fantastic place to have a party. I suggest you have yours there, whatever you got going on. And the Wildcats, just a great experience. And Danny and Andrea and the whole staff, as always, everything went off without a hitch. All of it was great. I had a wonderful, wonderful time. So to everybody that came out to the party, I want to say thank you. And I want to make sure that I'm hopefully not missing anybody. I'm going to do my best here to say everyone that came out to the party, because I appreciate everyone that did. So obviously my mom and my dad, my Annie Lane, James, Tracy, Nico, and Miguel, my Aunt Donna, as well as Nick Claps, my cousin, Amy and Amy, who came out, my wonderful and oldest niece, Emily, a.k.a. Friday, Jerry and Amanda, Amani, Dave and Boo, Becky, Lisa, Roseanne, Alana, and Mark, all coming together, Mr. D and his wife, Suzanne, as well as Jay and Kate, Big thanks to Joyce, to Curtis, to Rob, to Bill and Jeff, to Casey, to Jim, Catherine, Isaac, Brendan, Eric, Bill, Jimmer, and Betty, as well as their wonderful staff that was there with them, Ike and Michaela, Johnny and Aaron, to Scott, Dana, and Mike, my cousins, to Mark, to Maggie, to Carol, as well as Mike and Bob Campese, my cousins. And hopefully I didn't forget anybody on this list. And so thank you to everybody that showed up, everyone that came out, and also to the DeMillos. I want to thank the DeMillos for being there as well. So big time shout out to the wonderful DeMillo family. And Alyssa, I know you were there in spirit. So, and everyone that spoke. Amani Free spoke, who worked for me as an intern while she was in college. Rob Drummond, who played for JD and Syracuse and the NFL and the CFL and has become a great friend of mine. He spoke. Isaac, who is my better half on Tortora and Elford, and one of my closest friends, a brother to me. Him and I met through the media. He spoke, and my mom and my dad spoke. So I want to say thank you again to everybody that took the time, to people that traveled down the street and people that traveled from hours away. And to those that couldn't make it, many messages were sent. And I'm going to share those with you coming up here. So make sure you stay close to our social media. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. We have some really, really wonderful messages that came in. So not only do I appreciate all the people that came out to celebrate 21 years of broadcasting with me, I thank everyone who couldn't make it, who sent their love and their support, and whose love and support I feel all the time. So I love you all dearly, and we have some really amazing messages that are going to be coming. So the party ain't over yet, and I'm excited to share those with you. With that being said, before we jump into the ingredients to success here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to reflect back on what's been going on in there's a lot of different things that have been happening. We've talked a lot about the college football playoff, and we're going to continue to talk a lot about the college football playoff, but there's other things that we haven't dove into as much in my travels over the past couple of weeks. And fantasy football is one of those things. So, those of you that love playing reality, love watching football and being a part of football and celebrating football and whatnot, we also play fantasy football here on Wake Up Call, and we have leagues at the Wildcat. Wildcat is for Central New York. It's our exclusive home. The Wildcat Sports Pub is for our fantasy football leagues. So we have our Gridiron Gurus League, and we have our Captains on Call League. They're both in their 13th year, and we have people that are new. Shout out to y'all. And we have people that have been with us for years, and we have people that have been with us from the beginning. So thank you to all of you for being a part of those leagues. I have your trophies are going to be picked up, and we're going to be celebrating that soon. So I apologize for the wait on that. And shout out to the Pen and Trophy Center who makes our trophies. Our first place gets a mini Lombardi that looks just like the Super Bowl championship trophy in real life. It's just smaller. And so we have the Lombardi for the winner, and we have a bronze toilet seat with your face on the top of the toilet for those that get last place. And then the bottom of the toilet is open, so you can put candy and different things in there and keep it on your desk and have some fun with it. So we're going to be giving out those trophies of the last couple seasons, and we just officially started our postseason for our Central New York leagues of the Wildcat Sports Pub, our Floridian leagues down in Orlando, Florida, and of our Floridian league down there that's 14 years old, and our Marywood Alumni League. In the Marywood Alumni League, I want to take a look at the bracket here and let you know where things are. So let me go to our bracket for the playoffs, if I can navigate through this thing. So it's, here we go, because I was on my team. That's what was confusing me. Okay. So when we take a look at where things are at, does it let me look at it's got to let me look at I could do this all on my phone, but I'm trying to do this here in the studio. I'm probably just going to do it on my phone. because it's a lot. Oh, here we go. Here's the playoff bracket. They put it in it. No, it seems like it's in a different place. So I am the number 1 seed, so I have a bye. My team is Sorry It's Jackson, which is a playoff of I'm Sorry Miss Jackson, which is from the from Outkast. So, and I have Lamar Jackson on my team. So the playoff winners bracket, Taylor Made defeated the Chiefs Kingdom. So that means Brandon is out of the playoffs, and Matt is continuing on in the playoffs here after that victory, 149 to 118. And then Virginia Ballers, John's team, lost to Elevated Tree Stand, which is Lawrence's team. And so Lawrence is moving on in the postseason. I was the 1 seed, so I had a bye. So I'm going to be playing Matt. And then Lawrence will advance to play the number 2 seed who had a bye, which is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And that team belongs to Brendan. So DT and Murphy, Brendan and I, who do DT and Murphy on Wake Up Call on Mondays, him and I were the 1 and the 2 seed. I was 11-3 this season. Thank goodness. Didn't have this good of a record in recent history in the Marywood League. So Brendan was the 2 seed and I was the 1 seed. If we both win this week, then DT and Murphy will play for a championship, which is pretty cool since we do the show together. And so there's that opportunity. I will be playing Matt's team, and he will be playing Lawrence's team. So that'll be exciting to definitely pay attention to, and you can be sure that I'll be letting y'all know what's going on. My one team, one of the teams that I have, I changed their name from last year. I tried to give them like a different name, trying to move on, create a new chapter. They still stink. I have Pat Mahomes on the team. I don't know what their problem is. They were 4-10 this year, and I didn't do well, and so I did not make the playoffs because not every team makes the playoffs. So I did not make the playoffs in the Captains on Call League, so I will not be getting the Lombardi in one of our Central New York leagues, but in the other one, my Uncle Pat's Bandits, named after my Uncle Pat, who served in World War II in the Air Force, and I have a fighter jet as my logo there. I am looking at this right now, and let's go to the playoffs. Please tell me I didn't lose in the playoffs. Come on now. So I did, mother. So I scored 145. I scored 145, and I was the number 1 seed. So I'm the number 1 seed in 2 out of the 4 leagues, and I lost to Benchwarmers. Is that Aaron's team? I'm gonna yell at Aaron. So Aaron's won a championship before. She beat me 214 to 145. Rude. Heller of a team, Bill's team lost to Mark's team as Team West moves on. So Aaron will play Team West, 2 great teams there, and have been in the league for many years. And we built this gritty. They are going to move on over Carissa. So Carissa's team loses, and we built this gritty is Johnny's team. So Johnny and Aaron are husband and wife. They're both in the Final Four. And if they both win, they will play each other for the championship. I hope that happens. and so looking at Harris Sons of Anarchy, Paul's team lost and to OHIO. And so that is Lisa's team. So Lisa's team is moving on. So Lisa will play Johnny and Aaron will play Mark. Whoever wins will play for the championship. So I cannot win either championship in the Central New York Leagues. Doesn't that make me happy? And in the Marywood League, I got a shot. And then I got to look up the other one here because I'm going to have to look it up. It's easier to do on the app. I should have just done it on the app here initially. So, oh boy. So, say Quando is my other team. And obviously off of the song Quando, Quando, Quando by the wonderful, wonderful Michael Bublé. And mine is about Saquon Barkley, so I changed the CU to QU, and my teams say Quando. Taking a look at this, we had a bye week, and so the playoffs here, I was the number 2 seed down in Florida, and Buckhammer's team, Mark's team, Mark A., he was the number 1 seed, so we both had a bye. Wicked Leicester, Eric's team, defeated Team Elite, which is Stefan's team. Keep in mind, Stefan and Mark are son and father there, Stefan and Mark. They have each won a championship. They've won multiple championships as a family, but they've each won with their teams, and now Stefan has been knocked out by Eric, and now Stefan's dad will play Eric. So Eric has the chance to knock out the entire family, or dad can avenge his son. That's a good matchup there. And then I'm playing the winner of a 5-point victory between Jason Lucas, who's been on the show before. Y'all know him. His team is Y'all Suck. And Meet the Robinsons is Rick's team. He beat Rick 170 to 165. They're both Dolphin fans. And they both they have this cool dynamic where they kind of like think the same when they're trying to draft and whatnot, I believe. So now I'm playing Jason. So how about this? In the 2 leagues where I am still in the postseason, I have to play people that contribute to Wake Up Call on the broadcast. I could play Brendan if I make it to the championship and he makes it in the Marywood League. I am playing Jason this week in the Final Four. Eric takes on Mark, and I take on Jason for the rights to play in the championship of our Floridian League. So I'm ecstatic. I'm happy that 2 of my teams are alive. I'm upset that in Central New York, I cannot win a championship, so that is sad. But it is exciting to play fantasy football, and I wanted to give you all a shout out because you have been incredible and you've been patient, and I got to pick up our trophies. I actually have to make that phone call after the show today and make sure that I go out and get those and put them in their rightful homes with the wonderful people in our leagues that have won them. So, with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. God is great. And we'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for the ingredients to success. Today's topic of the ingredients to success is don't be afraid to have a voice. We'll discuss what that means right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, has a fantastic opportunity for you to have so many different products right there in front of you, from singles, packs, boxes, as well as graded cards. They have every NFL, every MLB, every NBA team on their back wall. Tireless effort to make sure that the fans of favorite teams and players have the opportunity to find some really cool diamonds in the rough. They have the new arrivals box, Disney Lorcana, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, as well as Magic the Gathering, baseball, hockey, soccer, football. So many awesome things at GG Cards and Breaks. You never know what you're going to find. Kyle McCord cards, while they last, bunch of them are going. Aronde Gadsden cards. Get out to GG Cards and Breaks today. Grab something for the holidays, for Christmas, for a loved one. Get something for yourself. This is the rule. You buy 2 packs, you get yourself 1. That's the rule, right? Buy 2 for somebody else, take 1 home. So go to GG Cards and Breaks. Buy 3 packs, 1's for me. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, definitely go out to GG Cards and Breaks. An awesome place to continue your collection, expand your collection, or to start your collection with their trading card games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, and Disney Lorcana, as well as all of the sports cards that they have, autograph cards, one-of-ones, rookie patch autos. You never know what you're going to find at GG Cards and Breaks. A ton of graded cards came back, and they are all there for you to take a look at, but they're only there until they're not. So head off there today, and every Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. to GG Cards and Breaks. With that being said, it's time to get into the ingredients to success, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Avicolli's, where I was last night, hanging out at Avicolli's with the girls' indoor track team. I had the opportunity to speak with the sprint team as well as the distance runners and the vertical jump and throwing teams, as well as head coach of the girls' indoor track team, Greg Hamilton. You can watch all of those specials from Avicolli's by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and go to the on-site shows playlist, and you'll see it all there. You'll also see them all on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt. Today's ingredients to success topic is don't be afraid to have a voice. In the world we live in today, people are scared to speak up, right? You might believe in something wholeheartedly, completely, truly, but you're so afraid that somebody's going to not like you, right? What if somebody doesn't like me? What if somebody doesn't like what I'm saying? What if they don't agree with me, Dan? What am I supposed to do then, Dan? If people don't agree with me, if I'm not saying something that the majority is good with, then they're not going to like me. They're not going to want to be my friend. They're not going to want to hang around me. And so, to me, in the world we live in today, it is so easy to be in a place where we feel like we can only have a voice if people agree with that voice. We can only have a voice if people say, yeah, you know what, we agree with that. We're gonna ride with that. We'll rock with that. To be the voice of the majority only. Because you can't be the voice of the minority. Because if you're the voice of the minority, well, then they're not going to be fans of you. Then you're going to stand out on your own. And I can't stand out on my own. People in today's society, thanks to social media and other things that are out there, they're afraid to stand out on their own, afraid to be themselves, afraid to just go out and say, this is who I am. And I'm proud of who I am. And I value who I am. Because who you are may not gel with somebody else. Who you are may not be in the majority. You know, when growing up as a kid, believing in God, that was something that if you didn't do it, it was like, why not? You know what I mean? It's like believing God was a part of life. We knew that God existed. We knew God was here. We knew God was real, is real. But in today's society, it seems like it's kind of been lost on us a little bit, the fact that God is here. And we don't always take the time to appreciate that, right? So if you had a voice today in society, right, and you're out there doing your thing today and you're talking about God, you might not feel like you're in the majority. You might feel like you're a minority. And that makes me sad. That makes me really sad. That people feel that way. You know, Dan, if I believe in God and I go out and I pray in the open, I do the sign of the cross in the open, I might offend somebody, I might bother somebody. Be yourself. You know, if you're not hurting anybody, you're not out there, you're not doing anything to drag anybody down, to hurt anyone, to try and push somebody to be something that they're not, you're not out there doing evil, you're just out there living your life, then why should you feel bad in being who you are? If who you are is beautiful, then let it be beautiful. You know, and to me, I feel like I'm sad for this world. I'm sad that people feel like they have to only agree with the majority that's out there. That the only time that you could speak up is, I mean, and in that case, you have to literally, you have to constantly be checking what's politically correct. What should I be saying? What's out there? You know what I mean? You have to constantly change yourself. If you don't know who you are, you have to continue trying to be something that you're not. And the chameleon life is no life to live. The chameleon life is no life to live. But it's the life that people do live. It's the life that people do get stuck in. That life of just being out here and being a chameleon, doing whatever they think is right. You know? It makes me sad that we feel like we have to live in a world where we always have to follow the majority. We have to do whatever the majority says. And that to me it's wrong. To feel like that's the only way that you can live is by just doing whatever is popular at the time. Because it's going to change. What's popular at the time, it changes. It always changes. Especially in today's society. What's cool today could be blasphemous tomorrow. What people love today, they could hate tomorrow. Having a voice in today's society is not about popularity. The whole likes and clicks. Remember this. Just remember this for a second. When I was growing up as a kid, there was no likes, there was no follows, there was no social media. There was no getting on a video and seeing all the hearts pop up and the angry faces and the thumbs down and the thumbs up and all that. None of that stuff existed. So people that live for that now, it didn't exist before. It's a man-made thing. It didn't exist. So if we could live without the likes and the clicks and the follows and the this and the that, then we can live without them now. It's not about having a voice, is not about doing what the majority wants to do. It's not about following whatever's popular at the time. It's about determining what matters to you, what values you have, what morals you have, what truly is inside of you that you care about so very much. Being yourself in today's society, being yourself at any times unapologetically and happily being who you are, not hurting anybody, just being you, that's something that you strive to do in any part of the history of mankind, past, present, and future. As we go down this road, being yourself is the only way to be. But in today's world, it's hard. It's hard. And I'm sure it was hard in other worlds, right? If you're a Jewish person during Nazi Germany, did you want to go out and tell people you were Jewish, or did you hide it? What did those people feel like? What did Jewish people feel like when they're praying to God and asking God for forgiveness, that when they go out in public, they pretend that they don't know him? They pretend that they don't have a faith. They try to change the way they speak, change the way that they look, just so they can stay alive. What was the better route? To praise God and be killed? Or to praise God in private and hope to live? There's so many things that have happened in our world that were so much more difficult than what we perceive as problems today. We as Americans are so privileged in a lot of ways that we create problems because we don't have real ones in our personal life. So we make ones up. These social media canceling, the cancel culture, that's a made up problem. The cancel culture is literally a bunch of people who have nothing going on in their lives seeking to make sure that you have nothing going on in yours. People who go to the movies that you don't go to the movies with anymore because they complain about the previews. They complain about how many previews. They complain about what the previews show. They complain about how long they had to wait. They complain about the air conditioning or the heat that's in the room. They complain about the movie during the movie, and as soon as the movie ends, they said that wasn't a really good movie. That's cancel culture. They're never happy. They're never proud. They're never satisfied, because people who hate on other people truly only hate themselves. And the people that they're hating on, 99.9% of the time, they couldn't do if they saw that person in person. They can do it over a computer, or they can do it for their followers. Some people turn on that camera on their social media and they start talking when they start talking what they think you'll want to hear. They turn that camera on and they put it up to their face and they start taking an approach to, okay, the Daniel Penny case about the Good Samaritan that was trying to protect people on the subway from a man who came on the subway saying that he was willing to kill someone and didn't care. I'm paraphrasing, I don't know his exact words, but that he was willing to hurt somebody, willing to die that day. And so Daniel Penny goes and puts him in a chokehold and tries to prevent him from hurting anyone on the subway. And Daniel Penny goes on trial. And a jury's deciding whether or not this man should go to jail because the guy who he put in a chokehold didn't die from the chokehold. He died after Daniel Penny was away from the situation. And the guy apparently had drugs in his system and all this stuff, whatever. So people had an opinion, turn their camera on. They look at what's trending. They look at what people are saying. They look at where the positive side is and where the negative side is, and they jump on and they take that opinion. And, oh, Daniel Penny, man, if I was him, I would have done this, and this is wrong or this is right, to get the clicks and the likes. How many of you are turning your cameras on your phone to tell the truth? How many of you are turning the cameras on your phone to say the things that you would say if nobody was watching? If you had no followers, no connection, nobody watching, listening, being there around you, would you say the same stuff? That's how you know. That is how you know. If you truly mean something. If you would say it when no one is watching. If you would say it and there was no followers, no clicks, no likes, nothing. Would you say the same things if nobody was watching you? If it wasn't popular, would you believe it? That's the reality that I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking you. Would you say the same thing that you just said on social media this morning if no one was watching and nobody was clicking on it, nobody was a follower, nobody liked it, it didn't get you a bunch of hearts and this and that, whatever? Would you say the same thing? Would you do the same thing if nobody was watching? Because when I ask you to have a voice, I'm asking you to have your voice, your own distinct voice, the voice that God gave you. Because we're in a dangerous crossroad of humanity, and we've been in it. And that is the crossroad between truth and perception. You say, Dan, truth and lie. Truth and perception. What is the truth? And what are we perceiving as the truth based on what we're seeing? Because there's the truth, and then there's the thing that some of us think is the truth. Some people think the truth is a lie. Some people think lie is the truth. Some people perceive things as true because they were told that they were true, or it's popular to be that way. We're in a time period where the truth is not necessarily the truth. It's the truth if you believe it. And the lie is the truth if you believe that. And that's a dangerous place to be. Because the truth is the truth. And the truth will always be the truth. The lie will never be the truth. But in the society that we're in today, people believe that the lie is the truth. Sometimes. Because of perception. Because of popularity. Because of who they follow and what that person likes. So I ask you today, do you know who you are? Do you know your truth? Do you follow things blindly and only seeking follows and clicks and likes and subscriptions and popularity? Or do you follow things that are true, that are real, that are things that you would be about and talk about and live with if It had nothing to do with popularity. If popularity wasn't on the table, would you still do and say the same things that you do and say? That's my question to you today. The ingredients to success, proudly presented by Avicolli's on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, right down the road from Liverpool High School, and the home of our Liverpool Legends broadcast every month, including yesterday's with the girls' indoor track team, a 5-part series that you can watch on youtube.com and on facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe and follow while you're there. And thank you so much for your support. Head off to Avicolli's 7 days a week, including today, for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Only drink if you're of age, and only drink if you're doing it responsibly. Avicolli's 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. And, of course, you can go to myavicollis.com to order online today. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show as always, and I want to thank you for tuning in up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the world on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. I also appreciate you being with us on our internet streaming radio on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Big time thanks to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube, where Wake Up Call can be accessed today. All you have to do is go to any one of these platforms and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Click subscribe, follow. It's all free, and you will have our archive of shows constantly growing throughout the year right there at your fingertips, wherever you are, whenever you are. Make sure you follow us today. Big time thanks to our incredible partners, of course, 1788 Old Morganton Road down in Southern Pines, North Carolina, the home of our Brooklyn Pickle partner down in the great state of North Carolina. Head to Brooklyn Pickle today on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina, and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you in their direction down there at the wonderful Southern Pines location of Brooklyn Pickle. And many thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Servo Mation, Mother's Cupboard, Avicolli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mon Paz, GG Cards and Breaks, Fire Pit Barbecue and Saloon, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Great Lakes Honda City, Brian's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. You could find your Dolphins every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time weekly right here in Dolphin Time. And these wonderful segments with student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni can be found by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the Lemoyne playlist of over 3.5 years of broadcasts centered on the Lemoyne Dolphins. They've never been covered like this, not this extensively, not this consistently, and not amongst all 21 of their sports. You'll find it all on Wake Up Call by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT and checking out our Lemoyne playlist. You can also find the Dolphins on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the Exclusive Partners tab. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com and Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats every single month with student athletes, coaches, and administration coming from men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, and esports. You can find them all by going to youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the Exclusive Partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every Tuesday, like today, during Bearcat Time. Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Worldwide, you will find student athletes, coaches, and administration connected to the Binghamton University Bearcats right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, including our conversation today with Binghamton University women's basketball head coach Mary Grimes and student athlete Bella Pucci. You'll find all of our content, Moments with Marshall, and the Bearcat Breakroom segments inside of our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. You'll also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go to Binghamton tomorrow for a doubleheader in men's and women's basketball. The men take on Mercyhurst at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, December 18th. The women take on Syracuse University at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time approximately to follow. I'll be down in the Southern Tier, and I hope you'll join me down there in celebration of Binghamton University athletics tomorrow and always. With that being said, I want to thank you for tuning into the show today. Big time thanks to my guests inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Shout out to Jarrod West, Syracuse Orange wide receiver alum, hanging out with me and telling his story from out there on the West Coast in Arizona. Big time thanks to our Bearcat Breakroom guests in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, Mary Grimes and Bella Pucci of Binghamton University women's basketball head coach Mary Grimes and student athlete Bella Pucci, a.k.a. Lightning McQueen. And a big time thanks to Avicolli's for our ingredients to success that rounds out every Tuesday show. Head to Avicolli's for the best ingredients on the awesome Italian food that they have. And of course, thanks to Avicolli's for having us last night and every month for our Liverpool Legends series. And of course, for today's conversation in the ingredients to success about not being afraid to have a voice and knowing what that voice is and making sure that it's your voice that's coming out of your mouth and not somebody else's. Not someone else's ideas, not somebody else's want to make you something, but that you are truly representing who you are, made by God to be exactly beautifully you. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. For now, from the Wake Up Call studios, I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We will talk soon.